Hey everybody, this is Chris Lindenberger with Texas Homeless Network, and we are coming to you from Austin, Texas. It is 2 o'clock right on the dot, but we only have about 10 people on, so we're going to give everybody a couple more minutes, and then this is going to be a pretty loose call in the format, so we're going to present some information from the VISTA perspective and the SOAR Lead perspective, and then we want to give you guys time to talk as well. So hold on 1 second, and we'll start probably about in a minute. All right, we have, well, there we go. We're getting a couple more now. Hey everybody, this is Chris Lindenberger at Texas Homeless Network, and I have Peter here, who's going to be kind of co-facilitating this phone call with me, as well as Craig Fierro, who will be helping coordinate the call. So we're going to get started, and essentially, this is really our kind of quarterly call to really kind of go over some updates so that we can do a VISTA update and do a SOAR Lead update, kind of filling you guys in on what's going on around the state, as well as giving you guys any other information we might have come across since the last time we spoke, and more importantly, and probably most importantly, giving you guys some time to talk, and if you have any questions, to voice those questions. I do realize that in the invite that for this webinar that went out, I had in there that we were going to talk about the 2016 update and steering committees. I kind of scratched the steering committee stuff for now because I feel like the 2016 update, data update is going to be big enough. But if we come to a point in time, especially around the point where you guys have some questions at the end of the hour, then you can ask questions about steering committees, and that'll all be great. So, well, as soon as my laptop works. So we're going to do a quick check-in. It's first on the agenda. So we'll kind of go around the table and have you guys introduce yourselves. This should be interesting because we're in a big room with a microphone, so we'll see how that works. And then we'll do VISTA and SOAR updates. And then third, we'll do a conversation around 2016 and the data that we've gathered previously, kind of fill you guys in on those pieces, and then, as I mentioned before, any kind of questions at the end. So I would like for us to do a check-in. So this is what I'm going to do. I am going to start unmiking people, and we're going to go down the list. So I believe everybody is on the computer and or on your on a phone, maybe at your desk. So what I'd like to do is I'll call your name, and then I would like for you to tell everybody if you're a VISTA lead or a SOAR community lead, and then what area that you're serving in. So, so first we have Cynthia Delgado. Can you hear me, Cynthia? Cynthia?
Yes.
I can't hear you.
I'm sorry, it's because I can't hear you.
Okay. Go ahead and introduce who you are and then what area you're in.
I'm in Laredo, Texas, and I am, hold on. It's just I'm in
Yeah,
the,
so
and yeah,
go ahead.
I'm in the, like, I'm not, they couldn't open my office, so there's everyone talking. Like, everyone's talking here.
I understand. So Cynthia, yeah, I understand Cynthia. I've been there just recently. So Cynthia is in Laredo. She is the VISTA member in Laredo. We're very happy that she is there. As Peter sitting next to me gives me a thumbs up. Thank you, Cynthia. Frank, how about you? Frank in Temple?
Hi, this is Frank. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, Frank Tekwenko, Bell County Indigent Healthcare here in Killeen, Indigent Health Services Department, I'm sorry. Here in Killeen, Texas. I'm, I guess, SOAR?
Yeah. Yeah, you're going to be our SOAR lead there, or so says your boss. So you're it right now.
Yes, sir. I know.
Good to have you on the line, Frank.
Great.
All right, Juan, how about you? I'm unmuting you, Juan. Juan Guerrero. All right, we'll skip Juan. Luke Awa.
Yes, I'm here.
Tell everybody where you're from.
Well, I'm from Tyler, Texas. I'm the SOAR coordinator of Texas Homeless Network in
Yes.
Tyler, Texas.
So, yeah, that's great. So, yeah, Luke is the VISTA coordinator up in Tyler. So we're very excited to have him up there. He'll be working with the Ethan network up there, and so we're very excited about that. Let's see. Thank you, Luke. How about Lila? Lila? Okay. So she is here and down in the Houston area. So she's our SOAR lead down there. She's typing in all of her any questions that she might have. And then Mary, how about you? Mary Navarro. Okay. All right, we're going to keep going down the list. Michelle Yates, can you hear me, Michelle? Michelle Yates.
I'm here.
All right, good to hear you, Michelle. And where are you at, Michelle?
Cameron County.
All right, down in Cameron County in Harlingen. Thank you for being on the phone with us, Michelle. And Nancy. Can you hear me, Nancy?
No mic on the computer.
Nancy Similia. Okay, Nancy doesn't have a mic. So Nancy is in Conroe, Texas. She's our SOAR lead, community lead down in Conroe. Siobhan. Can you hear me, Siobhan?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Where are you at?
I am in Dallas. The SOAR lead here in Dallas.
Awesome. Thank you so much for being on the phone. Siobhan is great help for us in the Dallas area. So grateful to have her as a SOAR lead there. And Tammy Salinas. Tammy, can you hear me? All right. I'll move on. Twyla McCormick.
Yes, sir. I'm
Thank
in
you for being on.
Longview.
Where are you from?
Sir,
Where? So,
I'm in Longview, Texas.
yes, ma'am.
SOAR Leads.
Wyla. So thanks. I want to say thanks everybody. So Tammy Salinas is in Corpus, and let's see. Do we have anybody else? I think we had David Stanley, I believe, is on the phone. David, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah. Thanks, David. And what area are you in?
I'm in Bryan, Texas.
And Brian, awesome. Thank you for being on the line. So yeah, I know that I muted everybody back again, and I know that is a little difficult because I'm having to mute and unmute people, and some of you guys are on a phone where you can actually talk and hear. Some of you guys are on your computers, and so if you do not have a microphone for your computer, what you can do is you can type in any questions at the bottom of your toolbar on the right-hand side of your screen where it says questions or chat, and you can direct those towards Craig Fierro, and he will read any questions that you have to me and make sure I'm aware of those questions. So thank all you guys for being on the line. If I missed anybody, then we will try to get to you later at the end when we come to the questions, just in case we pick up a couple more. But for now, we want to kind of move on so that we have time to keep plodding along. So we're going to kind of go to a time where we can do an update. Oh, hey, look at there. I was, for the roll call, that had a slide with all the information. So actually, those are all the areas that we currently have individuals calling from or possibly calling from. And that excites me very much because when I came on board with THN in 2013, we only had a small portion of these areas covered through SOAR, either through VISTAs or through SOAR Leads. So I'm very excited about all the areas that we're covering nowadays and all the areas that are starting up. So, so thank you guys for being on the call once more. And let's go ahead and move to our updates. So we have Peter Grind that's here.
Thanks, Chris. My name is Peter Grind. I'm the VISTA project manager and supervisor with THN. I'm responsible for recruiting and supervising for all of the VISTA projects that we have around the state. And this year, as a part of a continuing grant that we have with the Corporation for National Community Service, or CNCS, we decided to recruit for some VISTA members to focus on implementing the SOAR program in areas that either were kind of just starting out with the project and would be interested in utilizing it, or for whatever reason, kind of emphasis on the program had fallen through in recent years. So we wanted, this was all kind of a part of a new emphasis of Texas Homeless Networks of trying to create improved pathways of getting people experiencing homelessness into affordable housing, and the SOAR program is one of those models that we think is really, really successful, and we're trying to really emphasize quite a bit. So working with my supervisor, Jennifer Paulson, and also Chris Lindberger, we decided to kind of use the powers available through AmeriCorps VISTA to try and spread the SOAR program and help implementing it in areas that can use some of that as support, can use THN support even though we work remotely from Austin. So in the first round, as some of the VISTA members rattled off, and I'm very happy that they could participate with this call, currently we have VISTA members in Galveston, Tyler, Lubbock, and Laredo, and we're very, very, very close for recruiting a member for Harlingen. So Michelle Yates, hopefully when we get a member for that area, you two will be able to collaborate, and that will be an effective partnership. So for those of you who aren't super familiar with the AmeriCorps VISTA program, it's managed by CNCS and kind of confusingly, as opposed to other AmeriCorps programs, most famously with the state and national grants, VISTA members don't work on direct service. They need to work on kind of indirect kind of program development projects that focus on sustainability. Usually they're administered with 3-year-long grants. So when we're putting VISTA members in communities to work on SOAR, they are not going to be submitting applications on behalf of clients. Instead, they're going to be working on more kind of model building and partnership building alongside the SOAR lead, if the SOAR lead is there. And if not, as with the case of some of our placements, the VISTA members are now very, very busy trying to identify individuals who might be interested in serving as community SOAR leads. So the idea is that at the end of the year or second year, once the VISTA members are removed from their site, they will have created kind of the supportive infrastructure that will allow the leads and the rest of the community to continue using the SOAR program really, really effectively. They're just going to get that kind of initial support to make sure the program takes off initially. So they'll be responsible for coordinating case managers who are interested in training. They'll be working with local hospitals and other emergency service providers who come in contact with the target population who are supported through SOAR, as well as hopefully coordinating some volunteers and maybe also identifying some funding potentially for full-time SOAR case managers in their communities. So I gotta say, we just finished visiting the most recent placements in Tyler, Lubbock, and Laredo, and I think we've had a really great start. Galveston is our longest running project, and we've seen some really great strides there. I feel like the outreach efforts are going to be really, really well pulled together and really get the word out about SOAR. So I'm personally feeling very excited about it. I think we got a really great batch of members. Thanks, Chris.
Awesome. Thanks, Peter. So essentially around SOAR updates and specifically around this webinar or kind of conference, well, you know, it's a conference call, but we do everything on computers these days, so it takes the kind of the form of a webinar. But this is a time really where myself and Peter will be updating you guys with what's happening around the state, as Peter just kind of filled you guys in around the VISTA members that are out there. Around SOAR in general, I'm very happy to announce that we've had a couple of new communities come on board with SOAR Leads, and they are actually getting trained right now. And so that would be Laredo definitely is one, and Corpus Christi is one, as well as the Conroe area, where we have individuals in those areas getting trained right now as SOAR Leads. So those are not VISTAs, those are actually SOAR Leads, individuals in the community that are working with the community around kind of developing the SOAR model. And then we have 3 or 4 other areas that we're doing active VISTA work in that we're looking to develop SOAR Leads. Actually, I say 2. Would be Lubbock and then the Harlingen area. And so, not Harlingen, Tyler. That's right, Tyler, Lubbock and Tyler. And so as we're looking to develop SOAR Leads there, that's kind of fun and interesting, finding out who's doing what in the communities and how we can train those individuals to help organize around the SOAR model. And so just kind of briefly, what I wanted to say was that, you know, Peter and I really see this component, the VISTA member and the SOAR community lead working together in all of your communities. And so I know in some of those areas we don't have a VISTA or we don't have a SOAR yet, but we're working really hard to get that established. And then as that's starting to develop, really the VISTA worker is working on the macro level of pulling together the community supports and organizing around the model, and the SOAR lead is really working on the micro level as far as the SOAR work that's really being done in the community. Not saying that they're doing the applications, but they know who is doing the applications, and then how we can successfully support those individuals and their agencies to keep the process ongoing. Peter and I both know, we're both very aware that this is a lengthy process, the SOAR model and SOAR application. That is the reason why it has taken a while to really get this rolling through the state. But you know, we are really at a spot that we've never been at before in the state of Texas, to my knowledge, which is we've gone from when I started with THN having about 3 SOAR community leads, we're coming up to about 14 at this time. And so we are really building the practice, and it's great that the VISTA members are out there to really help support this model. Now, in saying all that, this is new for us as far as collaborating with VISTA and really working this out with our SOAR leads. And so many of you guys, I think, have questions about kind of what are the next steps as far as VISTA work or the SOAR lead work. And Peter and I are trying really hard to outline that in kind of steps for your community so that we can really let you know, okay, this is what we're doing next. We're moving to a strategic planning to a implementation type of phase, and then from there to kind of a technical assistance type piece. And so that's just kind of a global sense of what is going on with SOAR around the state. Now, in the future, when I do SOAR updates on this call, we are looking to do these calls quarterly. In the past, we have tried to do them monthly, and we just didn't have enough participation for these calls to happen on a monthly basis. And so right now, Peter and I are looking at doing these calls on a quarterly basis, and it'll be our chance to kind of update you with what's going on, as well as getting you guys some information about what's happening around the state. And so from there, I want to move to kind of talk about what is going to be happening in 2016. And so before I get into the data collection piece, I do want to say that data collection is very important for what we do here. Essentially, you know, we had a call at the end of, well, about 2 months ago, September, October, to get in all of our data. And the only way we know kind of what's going on around the state and that we can report to SAMHSA about the SOAR applications that are happening around the state is if we can report on that data collection. So through the next year, we will be talking more and more about data collection and making sure that your communities are entering that data into the OAT program, because that is really the only way that we can really justify the work that we're doing and the difference it is making in your communities. So if your agency or if your community is not, if the case manager is not putting information in OAT, we can definitely have that conversation. If you have questions about that, you can email myself or Peter. The next bullet is identify communities for THN. So every year we identify communities throughout the balance of state area to focus on to really help them get rolling with the SOAR model. In all of the larger COC areas around the state, we work with them on a regular basis. So, you know, as far as Dallas, Fort Worth, San Antonio, Houston, all those guys, to get information as quickly as possible to help them with their trainings. But it's really those other communities out there, those small communities in those counties that are a little more difficult to get to. So this year we're focusing on Tyler, Laredo, Temple, and the Conroe area. And so the way we are doing this is that, as many of you guys know, we start with the strategic planning model piece, where we go out to the communities and work around strategic planning, and then from there move to a training emphasis, you know, training as many people as we can, especially those that will be using the SOAR application. And then that third piece is the technical assistance piece. And so in all those communities, we've started that piece. Now, those three steps, the strategic planning, the training, and the technical assistance, work the same for all of the communities across the board. So even if you're not an identified community for us at this time and you do want some help, you can contact me, and we will help you with one of the kind of planning on one of these phases as for your community. And then there are a couple of other factors that can really help with the SOAR process that I don't want you guys to forget about. One is forming steering committees. So these are typically small, a small group of individuals, typically comprised of somebody supporting or somebody representing your local Social Security Administration, somebody representing MHMR, somebody from the criminal justice system, and then somebody from the local VA. And then, of course, your SOAR lead and your VISTA member would be there. And really having those individuals meet on a regular basis to really determine the direction or the direction that SOAR is going in your community. This can be very helpful because you as the SOAR leads that are out there and VISTA will be able to see pretty quick kind of who's taking on and who's going to champion the SOAR process. And so that is very essential, as well as the online training piece. The online training is up and going. We have electronic flyers here at THN that we can send you guys, as well as a registration form. So if you want to roll out an online training in your area, just let me know. I can do a flyer within a couple hours and then send it out to you. All I need to know is when you're looking at starting up the training. The reason why we are doing the electronic flyer is that we want to have a registration page for you. That way we can track how many people are going through the trainings. Right now, we are using that method to track who's completing the trainings. However, we're finding that many individuals are independently signing up for the training and completing it, and then at the end of the year, sometimes we have a good idea for who's doing this SOAR model, and at other times we don't. Now I am getting updates regularly from PRA, and they're letting me know who has completed or who hasn't completed that training, and so I can also let you know that as well. And then finally, kind of the third piece to really making sure that SOAR is successful in your area is the SOAR support groups. Now this has been really successful in Austin. And then we are really emphasizing that other communities really take this model and use it as well. And this is really kind of opposite of a steering committee. This is a time where just the SOAR lead and VISTA would get together with the case managers and kind of go over how the SOAR process is working in their community. So this isn't a meeting for the VA and SSA and MHMR to be there. It's really just for those case managers that are using that process. And so it can be very helpful. All of these three different factors or three different pieces we will talk about in upcoming quarterly webinars. I'll hit on one. I'll hit on one on each of the webinars we're doing for the rest of this this year, and that way we can actually pull somebody in that's using this practice successfully in their area. So that's kind of it for that, just that brief update piece. I did want to kind of give you a peek at the data that we've been collecting. So what I did is I went into our OAK system and I ran the data from 2012 all the way through 2015. So remember that this is the grant cycles for 2012, 2013. So that's September through October of 2012 through 2013, then September through October of 2013, 2014, and September through October of 14 and 15. And so what you're going to see here, sorry, I'm going into specifics, is I broke it down into quantity and quality. So quantity, we're really looking at the number of cases that we've turned in and then the percentage of the approval we're getting on initial applications. So you can see when we started this back in 2013, we did a high number of applications that year. We got 48 cases through, but we only got a 46% approval on the initial applications. Now that versus 2013, 2014, dropping a little bit in the cases, but rising in the percentage of initial approvals, and then in the last year, actually rising in both. And so that is, I'm excited about that. And I'm excited to see those numbers rise. I know that's because we have new communities coming on board, and so they're learning this process, and we're doing more applications. And so knowing that we did 35 applications, with a 71% approval rate is great. And so going down and looking at the quality of these applications, this really has to do with the training and the ability to avoid the consultative exams. And so what we're seeing here is the days to decision. So that has risen a little bit. So when we started 2012, we had 119 days to decision. Last year we had 127 days to decision. What this says to me is that it's taking a little bit longer to get in all the pieces of information. So we're kind of pulling up those cases that took a little bit longer, and we're kind of going through to make sure that not only that the case managers are turning in all the information, but as well SSA is doing their part and not having applications sit on desks. So I know we've had a couple of conversations with local SSA offices about this specific piece, about not having applications just sit on desks. We need to make sure those get filed and get scanned in as quickly as possible. And then that other number you're going to see there has to do with around the consultative exams. And so in 2012, we had 52% of those apps go to consultative exams. And then in 2014, we had 37. So that number has been falling, and we want that number to continue to fall. It did go up 1% last year. But I'm grateful to really see these numbers fall, and I'm excited about where we're going in the future with SOAR in Texas. I know many of you guys hear me all the time compare Texas to some of those other of the states that are doing really good work. What I want you to realize is that we are a huge state geographically compared to those smaller states that can have 4 or 5 case managers cover the whole state. So that's a lot more work in the organizing piece. And so THN, Texas Homeless Network, is really dedicated to making this model work. And we are dedicated to seeing this ongoing data, for those numbers of approvals to rise and for that avoidance of consultative exams to fall. That's really where I want to see this data go. So that's the rough data for you guys. I do have some more stats around data. I was hoping, I know some of you guys have been requesting some more information around kind of what some of the highest claims are and percentage rates of maybe male versus female, or those that are on SSI versus getting SSI and SSDI. And what I can do is I can send that out to everybody that's on this call independently and let you guys take a look at that information on your own. But if you have any other questions around data, it's the end of 2015, and so the data is wrapping up. The data went in a couple months ago, but it's all been getting processed, and I'm grateful for all you guys and all the work that you've done, making sure that people were turning in data. And so that's wonderful. For next year, I want to really make sure that all of our communities are really using the online application tracking system provided free from SOAR or from PRA, the website, and to make sure that we're using that, because really what I can do is I can get some real-time feedback in what's going on with our applications. So, so what I would like to do now is just ask, or not even ask anything. I want to give you guys a chance to voice any questions that you might have. And so it can be questions around Vista or around SOAR or around the data that I've just gave you or the updates, or any other questions. This is a time for you to ask those questions. We will give you some honest feedback, and if we don't know the answer, then we'll make sure we write it down and get it back to you. So what I want to do now is I want to try to unmute everybody. This might be a little crazy, but we're going to see what happens. And so if you have a microphone, you can physically or verbally ask your question. If you do not have a microphone, then you can type it into your computer. So everybody should be unmiked. Does anybody have any questions? If you have a question, just state what your name is again so I know, and then what your question might be. And I know you got them, so come on.
I have a question. This is Siobhan. Can you hear me?
Yeah, Siobhan, is that you?
Yes, can you hear me?
Go ahead.
So some of our case managers have already started taking the online training individually. Can you see that yet, or do I need to find out who they are or anything?
You mean, can I see that through the HOPE system?
Yeah, no, through the website, because they're just taking the online training.
So that's a great question. If they are taking the online training right now, in the past, I have not been able to see who's taking it and who hasn't taken it. What I've been doing is I've been getting a list from PRA on who has enrolled in the online training, and they actually give me kind of 3 pieces to that: who's enrolled, who has enrolled and done everything up through turning in the medical summary report, and then who has actually enrolled and completed the whole training. So what I can do, if you guys want me to, is I can send, I can take that list that they give me and I can divide it into your areas, and then I can send that to you. Would that help, Siobhan?
Yes, because we are offering a $100 gift card to the first person who finishes. And so far, no one has said it's finished, but I just want to make sure.
Oh wait, so well, I've taken it before. Do I get $100?
No.
Yeah.
This past November.
Yeah, no, I can send that information to you. I just got an update from PRA at the beginning of December, so I can, I'm putting that right now in my notes to pull that up and separate it all out. Now, I don't know if they have, because I'm trying to remember what the spreadsheet looked like, but I think it was just name and possibly email address. Hopefully I can get them to divide it up among city.
That's all I need is name and email address.
Okay, so I'll do that. I'll send that out, and I will send that out to the email list that I send out this invite on. How about that?
That was good.
Awesome. What other questions do you guys have out there?
This is Franco, Bell County. I'm just starting everything new, so I'm just learning right now, so what happens.
So, yes, yeah, Frank, thank you for being on the line. Frank and Bell County just came on board really in this last month, and so we are excited about having them on board. And you know, that actually leads me to share one more thing. What Peter and I have actually done is we took the areas that you guys represent, and we really want to address this housing first issue based upon kind of regional areas. And so we actually have divided you guys up in kind of helping ourselves, but also possibly with you guys as well. So we have like Waco and Bell County or the Temple Clean area, and then Austin kind of on the same grouping. We have like that northwest area of Texas in the same grouping, northeast area, so that we can really take a look at, so that you guys know that if you have a client that comes in and is requesting SOAR, the SOAR process being done with them to apply for SSI, SSDI, you know, if they say they came from a different area that's relatively close, because I know the homeless population can be quite transient, you would know what leads and what areas to contact. And so we can get you that list as well. I can get you that spreadsheet that we have there.
Okay.
Matter of fact, we could probably throw all these spreadsheets into one document, which might make it real easy.
Okay, sounds good. Okay, I do have one question because it was brought up at the training that I attended. Not too sure if anybody is going through. What about lawyers or authorized representative that handles the the homeless person's SSI application and stuff like that?
So so to clarify, are you referring to lawyers that are coming out and have already started a case for a client, or that are kind of
both, because we do have a third party that when the customers go to the hospital and they have no income, they refer them to one of the third parties to process their SSI application. If they go through that and then they start that off and then they say they want to go through SOAR, how can the customer handle that, or the third party handle that?
Well, and anybody can share the experience that they have. What I can tell you is that the client has the ultimate decision of who is going to be their representative. So at any point in time, the client can decide to change a representative. Now, when I say that, I always say in the same breath that if you decide, or the client decides that they don't want that lawyer to be their representative anymore, instead of just going to SSA and having them switch everything over, I would suggest contacting the lawyer, because the lawyer might want to get reimbursed for some of their time that they've given, or they might want to continue on working with the client. But in most cases, they're pretty willing to give over that case.
Okay, great.
Does anybody else have any suggestions? So Frank, what I'll do is I'll see if we can get one of our individuals to talk about the hospital piece in our next quarterly call.
Okay.
And specifically how that works with the lawyers that are provided by the hospital, not provided by the hospitals that we're referred out to. I would suggest, however, that if we can get on board with those hospitals, we can get them referred over to possibly a case manager that's not going to charge them for that service.
Right. Understandable. Yes.
Okay. Thank you. And then I understand Tammy has a question.
If I get this correct, there's a SOAR training online. Can all providers take it?
Yes. So Tammy, you had a question about the online training and who can take the online training. And I know this is new. You're down in Corpus, and this is new for your area. And so so what has essentially happened, and just kind of briefly explain to everybody that when I started this work back in 2012, we did the 2-day SOAR trainings. The 2-day SOAR trainings were great, but they're expensive, especially for those smaller communities, and they're pretty intense. 6 hours a day in a little room with me, yelling at you about SSI and SSDI. But sometimes I feel like I'm yelling, but I don't think I am. Anyhow, so what has happened in the last couple of years is that PRA has developed an online SOAR training, online SOAR training. It's very beneficial. What I would suggest, and you can specifically email me, Tammy, but what I would suggest is first the SOAR Leads. If you haven't completed that SOAR training, and the VISTA members, both need to complete the online SOAR training, and then from there we need to identify who is already doing the SOAR apps that we can get them trained in, and then from there we can broaden the net. So eventually we want everybody trained in the SOAR process, but remember, even though it is online training, it's still about a 16-hour training. It is self-paced, and so that helps, but it's still really intense. So we really want to make sure that we get the training components, whether online or in person. We pull the people to the table that really are going to be using the practice and doing the SOAR work. If you have a question about that, you can email me specifically.
Oh.
They've already applied for benefits and have gotten rejected and are going to appeal. Can they go through SOAR, or is it a different process? So
Juan in Laredo had a question about appeals, and at what point would you do SOAR during an appeal? And really that's going to be case by case. So it really depends on how far they are in the hearing stage. So if somebody has turned in an SSI, SSDI app, and it is denied and it goes to an appeal stage, if they are pretty early in that appeal stage, then, and when I say that, what I mean is they haven't had a court date yet, you could stop the process there and you could do a SOAR application on behalf of that client. However, what I would also say is that they've already been, if they're in the appeals process, they've already been before the judge once or twice. If it looks favorable, then I would continue on with that same process. You can use some of the SOAR components as far as doing the medical summary report and really doing a narrative piece to really help the process out. However, it really is going to depend at that stage on how your client is presenting to the judge and what kind of history the judge has supporting those disability claims in your area. So really that's going to be case by case. What I would say is really take a look at that client. The issue with just restarting and doing a new SOAR application is it is going to take more time. So if the hearing is going favorably well towards your client, complete that. That'll be much quicker. But if it looks like it's not going to be favorable, then you could stop it and do a SOAR application. Always make sure you check that with your client and with the judge as well. Let the judge know what's going on.
I need that lady.
Go ahead.
What? No, the one that came in on Friday, so I can put the rest of the people in. The one that's pregnant with the little girl.
Okay. Anybody else have any questions? Michelle, we can hear you talking, so we muted you.
Yes, Luke.
Yes, Luke.
Yes. Is there any way, like with the tracking system, I met somebody who is using partly SOAR. Do you think it might be useful for us to contact the person so that we can look at what they are doing, if that would be beneficial? Because she's not using everything about SOAR, but she's using SOAR. Would that be one of the things you will look at also in tracking?
Yeah, so what you're saying is you've contacted somebody and they are using the SOAR process, but they're not using the tracking system, correct?
Yes, but they're not using the whole SOAR. They are using the medical summary report, but can we...
Go ahead, man.
Yes, can we, like for your tracking, will the person add value to our tracking system if I talk to her?
Yeah, so essentially, anybody that you find out in your communities that is doing the SOAR model, and let's remember that what makes it a SOAR client is the fact that the person, the applicant, is homeless or in jeopardy of being homeless, and that this is a free service, so we got to make sure they fall underneath those qualifications. They can't be charged to the client, and we got to make sure their clients are homeless. But we need to insist that they are using the SOAR application, application tracking system, or the online application tracking system. If they cannot use it, we can always contact them at the end of the year to gather their data. But it's not really helpful to us in kind of a real-time data collection way, so that we can kind of show what your community is doing. So what I would do, Luke, is let them know that they need to be on the OAT system. That's the online tracking application tracking system. And really what that's doing is that's really showing that the work, that's capturing their work that they're doing, and that's helpful for them and their agency and for the coalition. So we need to make sure they're doing that. There are many individuals out there that might be using SOAR and not putting their information to the online application tracking system. What I have done is I've sent emails out to anybody that's ever been trained and asked them to use that system. So so if you come across somebody, please let them know or have them email me and I can explain the process. If there is somebody out there and we're not sure they're doing SOAR to maybe to their best ability or to serving the clients they should be serving, then just contact me and let me know, and I will I'll contact that person specifically, and I will kind of ask them to get retrained. Okay?
Okay. I think I will talk to her. I think it was the person we talked about when you came. She told me that she had been using SOAR partially. So she said she saw your email, but he was unable to attend the strategic planning meeting we had. So what I will do is I will contact her and see if you can talk directly with her and see if there's any way you might be able to encourage her to do the tracking. I think she's handling almost 10 or to 15 clients every year.
Yeah, no, I definitely, yeah, that's the way to go. That's the next step, Luke. We want to make sure we're capturing all those numbers. Yeah, definitely anybody that you find, give them my email address, or shoot an email that they've sent you, CC me on it so I can contact them, because we want to make sure we're capturing all those numbers that we can.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Can you talk a little bit about the training, the online, I guess, well, the training that you would do after a group has completed the online training?
Siobhan, is that you?
Yeah, that's me.
Okay, so yes, what we're offering, what we were doing, or I'm sorry, what we are doing is a kind of a half-day face-to-face training, so that we could come out and meet with those that just finished the online training, and also pull in the lead and the VISTA, if there's a VISTA there, and SSA. The intention there is to kind of really link all the pieces. Now, as all you guys know, this process is unfunded. So really at this time, all I can do is work with those specific areas that I identified earlier, which is Tyler, Laredo, Conroe, and Temple, and doing these half days. What I can do for everybody else is do a conference call. And so what I would suggest is it's real simple. We just kind of get together. You would pull in everybody that recently went through the online training, SSA, the SOAR leads, and then I can call in via conference call or Skype or whatever you got, and I just have a brief presentation, but really the gist of the morning is really to make sure that any questions that individuals have, that they're addressed. And so I can do those on an ongoing basis. I wish I could travel out to all the communities and do that one-on-one contact. I would love to do that, but we just don't have the budget to do that. So what I'm offering is, as soon as, go ahead.
It's basically just an opportunity for the online students to just ask any questions and just link. We do have a VISTA person who I think we are sharing with Fort Worth. I'm not sure how that's working out. But just us and the SSA, I think we can handle that over here if we wanted to offer that.
Yeah, so Siobhan and everybody else, it's just like a meet and greet. The idea is that in the past we've been very separated from the local SSA offices, and the case managers have been kind of disconnected. So it's just a good idea that even if it's only 4 or 5 people that have gone through the online training, you have everybody come to the room. You have SSA there. You have the leads there. Even in Austin, what they've done is invite out any individual that has taken a training in the past as well, if they want to show up for the half day as well. I mean, basically, it's a meeting from about 9:30 in the morning to probably about 11, maybe even till noon. So you don't provide any kind of food or anything. You could provide coffee if you wanted, but really it's just a time where everybody can be in the same room. I go over a brief presentation of the fundamentals of SOAR, and then we just kind of just talk and clear up any questions. It's very simple.
Cool.
Does that answer your question, Siobhan?
Yep. How long is your presentation?
Okay.
How long is your presentation, Chris?
Oh, my presentation, It depends on how talkative I am that day, but typically it only takes about probably about 30 to 45 minutes.
Okay.
30 minutes is pretty quick. It really just depends. Some individuals do the online training and they come out and they don't have any questions, especially if they've done the application before. And then on the other hand, you have some individuals that get trained and come out the other side and they have a ton of questions. So my presentation itself only lasts about 30 to 45 minutes.
Okay. With myself and Rebecca Cox here, I think we can pretty much handle the questions. And so we may just ask you to come in and do that brief presentation. But I'll see what Rebecca wants to do.
Yeah, that'd be great. Just let me know.
Okay, thanks.
And if you're out in the communities and you want to do something like that, hopefully you know who your SSA contact is. If you don't, then shoot me an email. Make sure I have a list. All right, it's 2:56. Any other questions? Well, okay, good. So I wanted to thank all you guys for being on this call. This is a call we will do quarterly. I'm looking to offset this call with hopefully some kind of webinar from SSA. It's taking a little bit longer to get them on the hook and to help kind of provide this for us again. But the idea is to do this call, then do an SSA call, and then all of you guys should have seen the newsletter that we sent out last month as well, maybe October. And so we really want to keep the communication going with both myself, Chris, and with Peter. And so if you have any questions at any time, no question's a dumb question, shoot it to us. I want you to know we're working hard. I know that there's some communities we need to get back in contact with as far as Denton and Laredo and Tyler. We are doing that, so we are busy working. Don't think that we forgot about you, but if you do think we forgot about you, shoot us an email, especially Peter. We need to keep Peter on top of things. I'm just kidding. He's just right here. Anyhow, thank all you guys for being here today, and I will actually, when we get done with this webinar, there should be an evaluation that shoots up. Please fill that out for me so we can get some feedback on how what you thought about this format, and so we know what to change the next time around. But thank all you guys for being here. This is being recorded, and so we will we'll upload that to our YouTube channel. All right, guys. You guys have a great holiday break. Talk to you on the other side in 2016.
You too. Happy holidays.
Thank you.
Happy holidays, guys.